Netball Australia goes woke, goes broke. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because we're going to read an article discussing what's happening with Netball Australia. Essentially, one of the athletes took issue with a sponsor's father's comments from 40 years ago. There you go. And that's cost them $15 million. Sometimes you have to learn to leave the past in the past and just get on with your job, because 15 million bucks for a struggling sport, they should be, they're begging for money. They should be a little bit more humble and appreciate the fact that they're getting paid. Anyway, let's have a look at this. So Netball Australia player's boss makes a bombshell claim in the $15 million furor. Diamonds players made several offers to Netball Australia in an effort to reach a compromise on the recently abandoned $15 million sponsorship deal with Hancock Prospecting, the head of the Players Association said. Well, you should have kept your mouth shut, honestly. We're talking about something that was said 40 years ago. That's completely meaningless. No one gives a shit about it now. No one would even suggest it these days. The only people that would are idiots. So why bring up the past? 40 years is a long time. This is the problem. The woke people, it's like a cult. They need to find something to be offended about. Really, it must be exhausting. Catherine Harvey-Williams, the CEO of the Netball Australia's Players Association, says there was a lack of mediation between players and the governing body after concerns were raised about the deal with the West Australian mining company. Yes, because you're getting paid to play a sport, which is a complete luxury. Okay, in all honesty, it is a complete luxury to be played doing a sport. It's not. We can survive with amateur sport too, guys. Players stood by Donnell Willem, the third Indigenous player in the Diamonds' history, after she held reservations about bearing the company's logo. Harvey-Williams, a former captain of the Diamonds, said it was disappointing discussions with Netball Australia had broken down and Hancock Prospecting had walked away from the sponsorship deal. Hancock Prospecting is owned by Gina Reinhardt, daughter of the company's founder, Lang Hancock. Comments made by Hancock in the 1980s, in which he suggested Indigenous people should breed themselves out in future, are believed to be central to Willem and the rest of the players' concerns. Yeah, from the 80s, guys. Okay? Come on. I wonder how many of them are pro-choice, and they should look back at the founders of all of the abortion movements in the US. Just look into that if you want to learn a bit of history about why there was such a push for that. Oh, boy. You got to leave the past in the past, guys. You can't judge stupid behavior. That behavior would have been inappropriate in the 80s too, but it's 2022, okay? Gina's not saying that. She's not advocating for it, okay? Come on. Get with the times. Or am I just too old to not be offended by shit like this? Okay, people say stupid stuff. You deal with it. Nevertheless, Harvey-Williams said players were willing to wear the logo under certain circumstances. Well, maybe they didn't want to deal with that shit. Maybe, and this is what I think is really happening, Hancock Prospecting didn't want to be involved in any political mess. It's smarter for them to just walk away and not even be involved with it at all. Just step away. Nope, we don't want to be involved, because then it just goes away. Otherwise, it'll just be in the media again and again and again and again and again. It's much smarter. Save 15 million bucks. Walk away from this bullshit. The woke athletes learn a bit of being a bit more humble, and maybe some other people will realize. It's been a shock. Obviously, everyone is extremely disappointed. But I think we need to clarify here, the players' position has always been that they were prepared to wear the logo during the Constellation Cup. Yeah, of course, you want the money. No, you need to do it. You need to do the terms of the deal. You can't change the deal afterwards. Okay? And honestly, this probably is the smartest move from Hancock. It's just to step away from this entirely. Because think about it. What do you think has had a greater impact on Indigenous Australians? Netball team or a huge mining company? Just think about that. What do you think has created more jobs, more opportunities, paid more taxes? Just you know. Some people don't like to learn, look at things in the prospect from a realist perspective. It's all about virtue signaling. That's all it is. And maybe I'm just getting too old now. I'm becoming an old guy. We'd come to an agreement with Netball Australia where everyone was comfortable that would happen and that Donnell and the players would not be required to wear the logo against England in the 3-match series starting shortly. Well, what's that got to do anyway? At no point in time did the players seek to have the deal fall off the table, but we were certainly willing to come to a compromise and had agreed to that shortly after the players stood by Donnell. Yeah, well, tough. I do not blame Hancock at all. Via a statement released on Saturday, Hancock Prospecting announced it was withdrawing from the sponsorship deal. The statement claimed Hancock Prospecting had not been made aware of the concerns raised by players and did not want to add to disunity in netball. Yeah, good. Very good. I mean, do people even watch netball? I mean, it's on Sky here. Maybe I'm just not the demo. Players willing to compromise. Yep. Harvey Williams said it was a letdown that players had made it clear their priority was simply to get on the court, with Wellham being exempt from wearing the logo tabled. Wellham was even willing to wear the uniform in order to get the 3-match series against England underway, but by this time the offer had been withdrawn. Yeah, you just got to realise what people say in the 80s isn't really that relevant anymore. It's not like there's government policies that have been implemented from him that are pushing this upon people here in Australia. Well, certain people get their rights stripped from them in Australia, and, well, that's another topic, but maybe you should just play netball. Donnell sought an exemption for herself and wasn't forthcoming because there was a meeting where it was made clear that no exemptions would be given to any player. There you go. You want equality? Get treated equal. That was a disappointing moment because the players thought at very least that an exemption could be given for Donnell at that point in time. And that's fundamentally what it came down to in the end. An Indigenous player, our first in almost 25 years, only our third in history. Yes, but you're talking about a small percentage of the population, guys. Okay? So that's a fantastic achievement on her part. Was seeking an exemption for just 3 games so that she could focus on her debut and then could get to the table to sort it out after the England series. Netball Australia said they were disappointed after withdrawal of Hancock Prospecting's offer. In a follow-up statement, Hancock took aim at Netball Australia's virtue signalling. Hancock and its executive chairman, Ms. Reinhardt, considered that it is unnecessary for sports organisations to be used as a vehicle for social or political causes, the company said. Bravo. Bravo. Oh, yep. Good on Reinhardt. Good on her. Good on her. Okay? It's netball. It's netball. They don't even dribble. Okay? Come on. I mean, women's sports, they don't make any profit anywhere, do they? Do any of them make any money at all? And what about, remember the time the female soccer champions got their ass handed to them by a bunch of Australian schoolboys? Shit, I'd pay to watch that. Oh, who am I kidding? No, I wouldn't. I'd watch it on TV for free. No, I wouldn't then either. In the midst of, I'd wait for a Bearing cut, and I'd watch that. I'd watch Bearing do a video on it. There we go. In the midst of the furor, the Diamonds let their game do the talking. Oh, come on. Yeah, I've never even heard of the Constellation Cup, but good on them. Faced with a 0-2 series deficit, the Diamonds became the first squad in competition history to win from such a position when they triumphed in the deciding game 4 of the Sunday evening. Good. Thanks to a decisive win in Melbourne last week, the Diamonds needed a win to claim the trophy on the comeback. And they did against New Zealand, digging deep to register a win, 57-53. So good work. The girls pulled it together. But let's have a talk about this. So, I stand by Gina, I think she did the right thing. We need to get this politics bullshit out of sport, okay? Because it's only one-sided politics. It's only wokeism. And that it's becoming an ideological, it's a religion, where people find things to be offended about and dwell upon this again and again and again. A young athlete making a debut in a sport, that should be a fantastic achievement. This type of garbage from 40 years ago, you shouldn't even have in your mind anymore because we've moved on. Okay? I honestly think it's the leftists that are really, really doing whatever they can to keep racism going because they want it, they need it. They've built a whole industry up on it. They're racist based on low expectations. It's so ingrained in their thinking, in their culture, they don't know any different. But anyway, maybe I'm just an old fuddy-duddy, slowly evolving into my boomer form. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. Who's got Gina's back? Who's with the diamonds? As always, thanks for watching. Take care and check out my other channels, HeiseBim and HeiseSays International, for other topics that we discuss. And if you're a fan and want to support the channel, there are a few ways you can. Financially on YouTube or Patreon, using our referral links, buying our pocket squares, or calling us if you need an architect. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. And congratulations on the Diamonds for their win. Maybe it's time you just focused on the sport.